Lost in the rising fog of the Bitterroot Mountains, Ilara Price clutched her torn shawl tighter as snowfall sliced across, her cheeks like tiny needles, each step crunching on frozen soil while fear burned in her chest, because she knew she should never have taken the shortcut through these woods. But she had been running from the town marshals, men after witnessing a crime she shouldn't have seen, and the moment she stumbled, falling face first into the drift, she thought it was the end until a towering shadow stepped between her and the storm, a broad-shouldered mountain man with a beard thick as pine and eyes like storm clouds themselves, offering a rough hand and a warning in a voice that rumbled like thunder. "I can't control myself around you, so don't tempt me." His name was Rowan Creed, a recluse whose cabin sat hidden deep in the timber where no lawman rode, and he carried her there with effortless strength, laying her by the fire as he stripped off his own heavy coat to cover her trembling body, pacing like a trapped wolf, because her presence stirred something primal inside him, something he had buried long ago after swearing he'd never let a woman cross his threshold again, not since the night he lost everything to a betrayal he still smelled in the snow. Yet Ilara, despite her fear, found herself studying the hard lines of his jaw, the muscles shifting under his buckskin shirt, the pain behind his guarded glances. And when she whispered her story and the danger chasing her, he froze, fists clenching, because the men she ran from were the same outlaws who once hunted him. Suddenly the cabin felt charged, heat crackling between them stronger than the fire itself, and Rowan warned her again, backing away, knuckles white. "Stay, but don't get close. I'm not sure I can hold myself back." But when a branch snapped outside and her breath hitched in panic, Rowan crossed the room in 2 strides, pulling her against his chest with a gentleness that contradicted the tremor in his hands. And as the night thickened and the storm raged like a living beast, something in Rowan broke, open because danger had a way of awakening every instinct he'd tried to bury, protector, fighter, and man. The storm hadn't even eased when Ilara woke to Rowan loading rifles, his jaw tight, the dawn bleeding. Pale light across the cabin floor, as boot prints in the snow signaled the marshals. Men had tracked her to the mountains, and Rowan's control, already stretched thin by the warmth of her sleeping against him, snapped entirely when she tried to stand and nearly collapsed, forcing him to lift her into his arms again as he growled that he should never have let her stay, never let her scent fill his lungs or her voice soften the edges of years spent alone, never let her eyes, those frightened, hopeful eyes, look at him the way they did now. Outside, the enemy closed in, but inside, the fire of something wild and consuming roared between them. Rough whisper that he had dreamt of a woman like her, but denied himself the right to feel anything, and now her nearness made him lose every ounce of restraint he'd built, until she touched his cheek and the world dropped away, his control shattering as he kissed her, with a ferocity born from years of loneliness and fear and longing. But just as quickly as it began, Rowan pulled back, breath ragged, because he knew loving her meant protecting her, and that meant fighting. He forced her into a hidden room, beneath the floorboards just before bullets shattered the cabin windows, and the mountain man became something else entirely, a storm of vengeance and precision, defending her with a power that echoed through the mountains like thunder. And when the fight ended and silence fell, Ilara emerged to find Rowan bleeding, exhausted, yet smiling at her with eyes no longer haunted but alive, telling her that he could control his rage, his fists, and even his enemies, but not what he felt for her. As she pressed her forehead to his and the fire crackled beside them, Rowan whispered that she had changed everything, broken the chains he'd locked around his own heart, and he vowed, voice rough as gravel, that as long as she chose to stay, she would never run fear or freeze alone again. And with the mountains settling, quiet around them, and dawn painting gold across the snow, Ilara realized that she hadn't just found shelter in his cabin. She had found her forever home in the arms of the man who once warned he couldn't control himself around her. If you enjoyed this story and want more powerful mountain man and cowboy legends story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next tale. Your support keeps the stories alive.